Hello, hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to this week's Leadership Zoom. I'm your host, Lisa Fuller, and I am super excited if you guys have been tuning in. You guys know it's Twin Month. Woo! We are interviewing all the crazy, amazing leaders that we can on Twin Coos team. And if you guys don't know who Twin is, you're either new or you live under a rock. Twin is her and her team, man. Let me tell you what, these ladies are incredible. I will say it. I said it last week. I said it the week before, and I'm going to say it again this week. I literally, in 12 years of network marketing, have never seen a team stay on fire, never stop, constantly working, no breaks, crazy PPAs. I mean, these ladies are hashtag goals. And I thought there is no better way to start off the last 3 months of our business without getting these awesome ladies, as many as we can of them, on and just pick their brains, because whatever they're doing, you know what they say. You follow follow successful people, do what they do, right? Rinse, wash, repeat. And I'm telling you, that's where success lies. And these ladies keep it simple. They do the do to get the get every single day. And I'm so excited because today we have Lena Truong on. Lena, I'm so excited to interview you so everybody can hear your greatness and your amazing story and your awesome tips today. And I know you are full of them. And I want to start off with, because we have so many awesome 200Ks in this company, and a lot of people aren't familiar with just our stories, our general story, our background, what we were doing before network marketing, and how we found it, and how we came to this amazing company, Lavelle. So if we can start there in the beginning, kind of, how much did you weigh when you were born? What hospital? I'm kidding. We don't have to go that far, but I do want to start with what you were doing. What did life look like before you got into this industry?
All right. What an honor to be here, Lisa. Thank you for having me. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lena Truong. I've been with Lavelle for about 3 years, slightly over 3 years. And where was I before this? Network marketing was very foreign to me. I knew about Avon, and that's pretty much about it. Maybe Mary Kay, but like no one I really knew that was in it. So network marketing side was completely foreign to me. I had no clue what it was all about. And I actually came in very, very negative. And I didn't know that until I started listening to Lisa. So where was I when I first started? Okay, so a little backstory about me, how I grew up was I grew up in business. My parents have been in business since I was 7. So I literally was born into business without a choice. And most of it came from just my parents trying to be entrepreneurs, coming from a third world country, trying to make it in Canada. I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I moved out when I was about 25 into British Columbia, and I moved alone. So before all that, we went through a lot of businesses, right? So we had a laundromat. My mom did hair. We had 3 restaurants. So we lived a really, really busy life. And at that time, all I did was I went to school for business to help my parents grow bigger and help them with their business. So by the time I hit 21, I was so jaded by business. I was like, because a lot of it was their time, right? It was all of our time. If I wasn't going to school, I was doing work. I was working for them. I was helping them grow their business. I was doing a lot for them. And so when I was 21, I was like, you know what? I hate this business life. There's no breaks. I wake up at 7 sometimes and I don't go to sleep till 2 a.m. And I had to go to school, do my homework and all that stuff in between. So I was like, you know what? I hate this life. So I went into corporate, I went to the banking side of business, and I was like, yeah, I could do this 9 to 5. This is very chill. I have some life. And I was like, okay, this is good. This is a little bit easier on my life. I can breathe. But then what I didn't understand was if I went to work somewhere else, I still had to come back and work the restaurant. So I was still trying to juggle. I was trying to navigate around, and I was like, you know what? I'll work on the back end things for you, where it was like marketing and all those things where they didn't understand. So I was like, okay. Anyways, fast forward, I stayed with the bank. I stayed with the bank for about 11 years. When I moved to Vancouver alone, I still worked for the bank. And at that time, I was trying to navigate around to see what I actually really like to do in the bank. And I did a lot of different things. And so if you fast forward into a lot, I went into, by the time, just before Thrive came into my life, I was working for 3 mortgage managers and about 80 mortgage brokers. So mortgage specialists, whatever you want to call them. So it was intense. It was very, very busy. It was a lot of days where, I started really early, but I had the opportunity to work from home. So I fell in love with that. And I was like, hey, cool. Like I could still work for the bank. I could still work from home. I like this. And I had kids, and that's when everything came to a halt. When I had kids, everything was like, do I really want to do this anymore? And so I was like, what do I want to do now? Like now that I have kids, I want to be there for my kids. Cause I remember with my parents, they were so busy that we weren't, I always joke around about like my parents not having us as little workers and not like kids, because it started at 7, right? So a lot of it was like, we didn't really have a childhood. We didn't go out and explore and have fun and all those fun things. So I didn't want to be that kind of mom for my kids. So, but it was really hard to kind of like shift around. And, like when I first started this whole thing, I had that mom brain, and I go back to work and half my brain is working. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is all this? It must be from all the exhaustion. I'm like, I'm not performing at my peak. I'm not doing that well. Like, what is going on? And I couldn't figure it out. So let's rewind to about 2018 when Thrive was first introduced to me. And Jackie was the first one to introduce it to me. And I was just like, she was like, hey, I'm starting Thrive. If you want to do this, here's my link. I'm like, okay, cool. What is this? And she's like, and at that time, I was introduced to it as more of a weight loss thing. And yeah, I had about like, I don't know, what 35 pounds to 40 pounds of weight to lose. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, I was really, really, really skeptical, right? I was like, there's so much weight loss things out there. Yes, I need to lose weight. So I was always like, hey, I'm breastfeeding. Let me figure this out and see what happens with you. So I'm like, okay. So I watched her for a few days, and like, if you've heard her story, she fell off. And I was like, haha, I knew it. I knew this didn't work. I knew that I had all these negative thoughts in my head. And I was like, okay. And so at that time, more people introduced it to me, and I was like, okay. And people would be like, hey, I lost a pound or two. And I'm like, that's worth celebrating. And I didn't know what a pound or two would look like or feel like or any of that, because I was so negative and I didn't know any of that stuff. So anyways, I kept creeping on Twin. Okay, guys, stay consistent in your business, because she did. Had she didn't, I asked everybody that introduced, I asked everybody, who did you buy it from? And everybody said Twin. And I was like, okay, who's this Twin person? So I started creeping on her, and I was like, okay, she's still on it. Okay, she's pretty. Okay. And I just kind of left it. And every now and then I'd be like, I'd get into the whole negative mindset, and I'd be like, I need change. I need something. What is this? Maybe this will work. Hold on, she's going on vacation. Hold on, she has a car paid. And I watched her from afar. And I think it was like a little bit later where I did end up seeing her at a birthday party. And I was like, oh, she's real. I was like, okay. So I kept creeping on her without following her. So you guys, people do land on your page and people do follow you without you knowing. And it is true, right? Like I kept coming back and I'm like, okay, let's see if she falls off. But she never fell off. She stayed consistent in her business. She kept going and she kept doing her. And I was like, maybe. And so my whole excuse, well, I'm still breastfeeding, kept going. And it wasn't And it also, at that time, it wasn't in Canada yet. So it was, everything was in the US price. Everything was super expensive. A Thrive experience was way over $300. And for a mom on mat leave, that's a lot. And so I started like digging into like some links, and I'm like, okay, maybe something will happen in the future. I can plan for it. So I kind of kept looking at it and I didn't say anything. And I was, I think I was at my breaking point. I was really looking for an opportunity at that point, just to survive. If you know how expensive Vancouver is, it's really, really expensive. You can, what I always say, you live in a sardine can and it costs you an arm and a leg just to live, just to have a roof over your head. And that's how I felt. And I was just like, wow, this is so expensive to be here. But you know, at that time, I'm like, even if I worked a 9 to 5, at the end of everything, sending my kid to early education and all that stuff, I literally had about $50 to my name by the end of it, with all the bills and everything. And I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. I'll try to figure out how to get this. And I saw that you can Thrive for free. And I was like, hey, maybe I can make this work. Maybe I can, like, so anyways, I put that in a back burner and I started looking into different kind of opportunities. And with Jackie, actually, we were talking about different kind of opportunities, things that we can do as moms, that was lacking in the city, that we can do this and that. And after all the research we went through, we're like, the overhead of everything is so expensive. I don't know if we can do this. Like, how long are we going to take to see some return? And we were like, maybe we should scratch this idea and look for something else. So back in 2016, when my son was born, that was when my grandma passed away. And I was actually really, really close to her. She passed of Alzheimer's and dementia, but she did live a while. So when she passed, I constantly went back to her grave and just was like, I need a sign of something, anything. And like 3 opportunities came to me at that point. And I was just like, I sat on it for a really long time. I did a lot of research and I was like, you know, should I go through all this? And if you know, like, space in Vancouver is really expensive again, right? So if you want to do business and you're like looking for a space there, it could run you, like, a really good space could run you about $50,000 in just rent alone, not including anything else. So I was like, okay, maybe that's not going to work. This isn't going to work. Let's just scratch this idea. And I was defeated at that point. I went back to work, and I was like, okay, oh, maybe I just can't do this anymore, going to work, because I was so tired. And I kept creeping on twin and I saw all these things. And then it was not until I seen another girl that I knew from the past, and she had 4 kids. And I was like, lady, what are you on? What? Tell me what you're on. You have 4 kids, you're looking great, and you're up before me and asleep after me, and I'm struggling like hell. Like, what are you doing? And she's like, have you heard of Thrive? And I'm like, hold on. So people can look like this and have energy? What is this? I need it. So that's when I dug into it a lot more. And I was like, I need this. Whatever the hell this is, I'm like, oh, it's vitamins. Okay. It's just vitamins. We can do this. And so that's basically where it kind of all started for me. And I on Jackie's birthday, I messaged her and I was like, hey, are you going to thrive? Are you going to thrive again? I'm just going to order. So I actually created an account on her birthday. So we joke about things like, you know, like I was her gift on her birthday.
Oh, Lena, there you go. Sorry.
Okay, I saw it. So yeah, like we joked about things like that and we just kept going. And so when I first created an account, I was still skeptical. I sat on the account for another 3 weeks and I stared at it. I dug through the back office. I looked at the opportunity and I was like, okay, let's just start with this. I started looking at, okay, this is all vitamins, this is all this and that. I can do this. I can make this work. But I was still very, very, very skeptical. So I ordered my first I ordered my first pack a couple weeks later after I figured everything is vitamins. I ordered not for just for myself, I ordered for my hubby. And I was like, if someone's going to give me an honest review with me, it's him. He can't lie. I knew what the Thrive experience would do, but I never explained it to him. So before this, we were already taking vitamins. We were like all through the day. There was so many freaking things that you got to take just to get through your day. And most of the time, because you're out and about, you always forget like the midday stuff, right? And I didn't really carry them all with me. So I was like, okay, let's just give this one a shot and see where it goes. And I was such an introvert at that time. I ordered from Twin, but I didn't even talk to her. I was like, okay, I'm just going to order from Twin. I put in my order and I was like, let's just disappear. Don't talk to you, like everything. I just dodged her at all costs, ordered and just went on with my day. So Thrive came in. I was like, hey, hubby, I got you Thrive. And he was like, you did what? I was like, can you start this with me and try this with me and just tell me how you're feeling? Because I want to know. So I'm like, you're already taking vitamins. Let's just try this together and see what happens. So if most of us like to ease people into their Thrive experience. I did not ease nothing in. I read everything and I ordered Black Label and I just went full on to double everything, full dose, everything on the very first day. I took my capsules and I was like, holy crap, I'm so awake. What the hell is this? I was like awake before my shower, and my shower was the one thing that woke me up in the morning, and it wasn't even fully awake. I wasn't even like Jackie says, I wasn't even a coffee drinker. I kept my caffeine levels very, very low. And so like, it was really strong. I put it in, and I was just like, whoa, what is this? So I put on the Black Label, and the Black Label feel, you're just like, oh, I'm happy. So it was like, okay, this must be a placebo or something, because there's nothing that can make you feel this great. So I went on with my first day and I was like messaging my hubby and I was like, what are you feeling? And I'm sitting there giggling at work, trying to support like all these like mortgage brokers. And I'm like, how are you feeling right now? And he was like, I'm feeling great. I'm going to go do the seawall. If you know the seawall in Vancouver, it's big. It takes a while to get around. It's about 11 kilometers or something like that. And we were like literally what we would say we're flying like through our day. Get so much energy. And he was like, I haven't felt this great since I was in my 20s. I was like, okay, so if he's feeling like this, I'm feeling like this. This can't be that fake, right? So that was day one. Day two came, same thing. I didn't ease nothing in. I was still struggling to like get through all of these things and like sit in my chair, because your energy levels like high and all this thing is running through you and you're just like, why am I feeling so excited? So that was when I started walking around a lot more. And at that time I worked downtown Vancouver and I worked on the 36th floor. So how I had to burn through that energy was I had to take the stairs. I was like, I can't make it to the gym, so this might as well be my gym. So I took the stairs all the time, and people are like, holy crap, like, how do you have this much energy? And by day three, my energy level was still high. One of my coworkers asked me if I wanted to go for a run at lunch. And I was like, okay, I'll bring my gym stuff to change and do this run. So if you know me, I hate running. I do not do any of that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, well, we'll just figure this out. So we ran from work to literally to the seawall and back. And that was about 10 kilometers. It took me about an hour. And she was like, you're not even sweating. I'm like, yeah, must be Thrive. And so we kind of went from there. And I was like, you know what, day three. And then literally by day 10, I was like, you know what, this isn't going anywhere. And if I feel this great, and if I was struggling so bad, I know so many moms that feel the same way. So that's basically where my Thrive experience started. Hubby felt the same way. And I was like, okay, you know what? I want this for free now. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted this for free. I didn't want to pay for this. I didn't know anything about these ranks or anything. But by that time I made a post. I still was dodging Twin. And I made a post and all I said was, the energy on this is insane, or something really short and brief. And people are like, what are you talking about? What is this? And I was like, I didn't know how to answer anyone. I was just like, I think it's just vitamins. And it just kind of like grew from there. And like I got my very first customer from that one little post I did, just sharing how much energy I had. And from that, I was like, people were like, do you have samples? I'm like, no, I just take them. I don't know. I don't have samples or anything. I just, just order. And once that first order went through, Twin messages me. She's like, hey, it's Twin. I'm like staring at my phone at work, like, who the hell is this? Why are you messaging me? I just wanted to hide. Leave me alone. I stared at it for like an hour or two. I didn't even reply. And I just was just like, I just want free vitamins. Why are you messaging me? And she was like, hey, I'm Twin, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're from Thrive. And I was just still staring at it for a while. And I was like, what does she want from me? What is she trying to convince me now that I've already ordered? And she was like, but then I had another friend named too. And I was like, is this her or who is this her? And both of them were somewhat in Vancouver at that time. And I was still trying to like figure out what this was all about. And I was like, so anyways, I replied later and I was just like, oh, I just like Thrive or something. I don't remember what I said to her. And she was like, try to explain the VIP to me or something. And I was like, huh? I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to get free Thrive. So because that order went through, I ordered for my hubby. So I knew that that was when I was going to get Thrive for free. And then she was trying to explain to me about like, I think I got another order like a couple weeks later or something. And she was like, you're almost at your VIP. And I was like, oh, that's just very foreign to me. I have no idea. I'm not about the business. I just want free Thrive. That's it. If I can get free for my hubby and I can get free for myself, that is great. That's all I need. And it just kind of like went from there. And I was just like, I was like, okay. I stared at it a while. I stared at the back office. I had no idea what I was looking at. And it was very, very confusing to me. So anyways, long story short, I didn't really look into the business until I kept sharing and sharing. I was like, I'm feeling great. It's been about this long. I've been doing this. And at that time I started adding right off the hop. I added expand because my mom brain was like to another level where I would leave my keys in the fridge and stuff like that. I could never find anything. So I knew I needed expand. So expand has been on my list since day one and it's been a lot better, but you can totally tell on the days that I don't take expand. So long story short, we went, where did we go from there? I think I just kept sharing and all I knew was I needed this for free. I couldn't budget this into my day because literally I only had $50 to my name at the end of paying for everything. And I was like, this is not going to be great. So all I did was I kept sharing and I kept sharing. And I just kept getting one customer after another. And I was like, oh, yay, I could Thrive for free. Yay, I could Thrive for free. And that's all I ran off of right off the beginning. I didn't hit any of the VIPs because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't understand what she was trying to get at, but she was like, hey, I asked her, I was like, how do you do this business? And at that time, Twin was such a baby in this. And she was like, she didn't really explain a lot. And I was like, okay. Then she was like, hey, you had to call up on this call. And I believe it's still her Tuesday call. And it was explaining the whole Thrive experience, people sharing their story. And I was like, okay, I can kind of get this. Like, this is cool. And it kind of like grew from there. I think the following week, Jackie was talking about her starting again. And I was like telling her, Jackie, you need to hop on this call with Twin. Both of us just little babies in this company, not knowing what was going on. We were just like, okay. And I think after a while, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take this a little bit more serious and maybe learn the business aspect of it. Yeah, we were so scared of Zoom. We never even used our name. I'm pretty sure I was just an LT. I hid my face for a while, didn't even have a photo up, nothing. I was just like, I do not exist because I'm an introvert. And basically that's how it all was right from the beginning. And I was like, hey, Jackie, I think I'm going to do the business side of this. What do we have to do here? Both of us were like, oh, we just kind of keep going. So we both read into the comp plan. We're like, okay, just get people on Thrive basically. And I think shortly after that, I wasn't plugging in as much at that time. I couldn't find a day in just to even plug in. So Twin added me to all these team pages and I was overwhelmed like hell. I was like, what am I supposed to pay attention to? There's so much things going on all these pages. And I was just clicking and clicking and clicking around. And then Lisa was doing a destination to 12K destination to 12K at that point. And I was like, maybe I should do this. If I want to grow, if I want to learn this business, maybe I should just learn whatever comes my way. So she did this thing and I was like overwhelmed already. So she started this thing with, hey, start your day and jot down what your day looks like from the minute you wake up until the minute you go to bed. And let me tell you guys, my day was 3 pages long with no breaks. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this business. And and then it says, send it to your upline. So I sent it to Jackie and I sent it to Twin. I'm like, guys, I don't know where I can do this. My day is so busy. Like I barely even had a washroom break in there. I barely even had a lunch break. Most of the time was commuting. But what it did for me was it helped me understand my day. I was like, okay, so because I didn't have this time, I have to wake up 2 hours earlier. So if I was already, and I'm not a morning person, so that was really, really, really hard. And I was like, you know what? I have capsules on my side. These things will get me out of bed. So I set my alarm 2 hours earlier, but that was a crazy shock for my body too. Cause it's like now I started work before at 8 o'clock. I would roll into work at 8:30. I was really bad. I was not a morning person. And so when I was like making this decision to wake up 2 hours earlier, I was like, oh, this is going to be such a struggle. But it helped because Twin started her power hours at 5. And I was like, we could do this. I could do this. And some days it was just Twin and I on power hour, growing together, listening to ebooks, just talking about whatever. There was a few of us on there. I think it started because, and it was Ronnie. Ronnie was on there because she was East Coast. It was a little bit easier for her. And we just plugged in all the time. We started listening to ebooks and we started growing together. And I was like, okay, I'll take this time to start messaging everyone. So, because that was the only time I had. So I messaged as many people as I could in the early morning. And I was like, I have the rest of the day for them to reply to me. But if you know Destination 12K, and if you've ever done this, you have more than 10 tasks to do to stay in this thing. It was overwhelming as hell. Sometimes it was like you have to hit the live button. Sometimes you have to tell a story. Sometimes you have all these other tasks that you need to do on top of messaging people. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this all? I don't want to get cut off. I don't want to be, but I also want to grow. But if I get cut off, I won't know how to do this business. I was freaking out. But there was days where I would like work right until the nose of things and you have to hand in these tasks. I'm like, oh, this is defeating. And I left my family in the back burner while I did this for a month. And I was like, I need to do this because I need to do this for myself. And from there, it literally grew because what it did for me was it taught me to understand what I needed to do in this business for me, what I needed to do on a daily task, on a daily thing to squeeze these things into me, like into my daily routine. So I started taking my breaks at work. Like I started taking my lunch breaks. And these are the times where I'd reply to people. And at that time, I took another position. So I was transitioning into another opportunity. So again, that was another change while I was doing all of this change. And it was crazy. And I was like, okay, I got to navigate all of these things while I do all of these things too. So long story short, I made it exactly. I made it work. A lot of this business in the beginning grew in the washroom. I took a lot of washroom breaks. They probably thought I had to go clean out all the time, but I was literally sitting there trying to close deals in the washroom as I was doing this. And, I made it a goal, and I was like, you know what, January 2020, I'm going to go 12K. And I marked it down in a calendar. Auto bonus 2020, I'm going to hit 12K. And I'm sitting there not thinking anything, just running. I had a few new promoters come on at that time. It was through Christmas season too. And Christmas season was hard, right? But that's when it picked up for me. I didn't give up. I just kept going. Oh, sorry, 2019. So I didn't give up. And I just said, I'm just going to keep doing all the things I learned that Lisa taught me. There was a lot of things where I thought I could have done, like go to the mall and ask somebody to add me on social media. I freaked the hell out, guys. This introvert here was like, I can do this. I get to the mall. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm out of here. I had to convince myself 3 million times to be like, what is this? What is the scary part of just asking someone for their social media or adding someone? This is a part of the whole, we're in a digital society now that belly to belly became so hard because everything was just text. Everything was not in person. And I got so accustomed to that being in front of people scared the shit out of me. Oops, sorry. But it did. And I was like, okay, it's okay. I'm just going to do this. I did all the tasks I did. I pushed as far as I could go with the whole destination 12K, but I was like, okay, this is great. By that time I had about, I want to say 3 people that came on for the business side. And I was like excited about it. And I was like, okay, so this whole thing, destination to 12K worked. So if you guys ever have the opportunity to do any of these growth challenges, I would urge you guys to dedicate your time, dedicate yourself to commit these things if you want to grow. Learn from other leaders, learn from other people, learn from your sidelines and stuff, because this is how I grew. And I was like, okay. So all of that happened just before the end of January. I'm at work freaking out, trying to learn all my new computer stuff. And Jackie's like, you're almost at 12K. I'm like, I'm what? I'm so far. I'm like 7,000. I'm at 7K right now. How the hell do you see 12K from this? But she broke it down for me. And I was like, she was like, how can you make this happen? How can you make this happen? And how do you make this happen? And I stared at it for a while and I was like, let me go back to the office and figure this out. So I started writing things down as it looked like I was working. Don't do this, guys, but work for real. Don't get fired. But I started writing and my brain is like running at this time. I see numbers and I see how I can help my team go 4K. And that's all I saw. How do I get everyone else to 4K? How do I get myself higher? Right. So it was a collective, like, how you guys, I went on a spree of messaging like 30 something people. If I got one person to reply, I'm like, yay. And that's all I did. And I messaged my other few promoters at that time. And I was like, hey, I have some credits for you. Let's try to get you to 12K or 4K. And, at that time was a rank advancement, I believe. And so we're like, let's try to get there. So we did this together, and everybody, by that time it hit at the end of January, we went 12K. And I was telling Jackie, I was like, I've never been to Dominican. I'm going to try to work for this, but maintaining 12, getting to 12 and all that stuff was there. Like my customer base was okay. And this is when the Zoom stuff started happening. Oh, can I get you on Zoom? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even show my face. I'm having a heart attack. And all these things just kept coming. Amber asked to do it. Lisa asked to do it. And I was just like, I believe I was on with Amanda Arnett. And I was like scared. I was so scared. I didn't want to do any of this. I'm like, I was just trying to get to one point. But I guess it came with the business, right? So anyways, I went to my first lifestyle getaway. And that was an eye opener for me. I was like, how? If you have never been on a lifestyle getaway, you should. It was an eye opener for me because it was just like, I pushed for this. I worked for this. I went as Jackie's guest for the very first time and we did this. But at that time, it was also the end of the month. and we were running for rank, and I was looking at things and I was like, oh my gosh, I can qualify hubby to 4K. So we went on this trip. We were working the entire time. So if you saw, I was like, how can I get all the rest of these people to 4K and all these things? And I was like staring at my back office. So if you saw me on the very first lifestyle getaway, I was like this. Hi, hi. And everyone was like, drink. I'm like, I can't function if I drink. And we went to the club, we sat there and we started working. All these announcements came out and we didn't even know what this was all about. We just kept working through the entire trip trying to help everyone rank. And I was like, and it wasn't until the month was over before we could start celebrating. After that, Jackie and I was like, okay, we can kick back a little bit, just a little. And then we're like, okay, but we got to get back on our feet because these rank advancements are still going. We have more people to help. And that's kind of how we built our business right from the get-go. But that was when I got to meet my sideline sisters that were so much fun. And like, we grew together. So that's basically the beginning part of my entire business and how it went. And then I went to, I came back so inspired. I was like, I need to do a local. I need to do a local. And Jackie and Twin was like, where? I'm like, Winnipeg. I'm going back home. I'm going to introduce it to everyone back home. And they're like, I'm in. I'm like, really? And if you know, not a lot of people go to Winnipeg. Okay, so it's a small town. To me, I feel like I go back in time because like it's not as developed as the bigger cities. So I'm like, okay, they're gonna come with me back home. Cool, like let's go. So that's when things grew even more. When I started taking the business a little bit more serious, I was like, let's go introduce it to Winnipeg. Let's go do this with a lot more people. And that's when the team started growing there. And I was like, wow, okay. And then fast forward, I went to my very first Thrivepalooza. And that, if you've never been there, please go. Because I sat in that room and I looked and I was just like, hold on. This company is only 6 years old. There's that many millionaires on the stage. Holy crap. And I just sat there and I just took it all in. And I was like, 5 years got them to a millionaire. And I was like, interesting. Okay. And then it was like, they rolled in the 200Ks and I was like, there's that many successful people in this business. So what's stopping me? And then I looked at them and I was like, they're just normal people like us. So if there's an opportunity to go, I would urge you guys to go. And I was like, okay, so if I just dedicated a lot of my time to figuring this out, figuring myself out, I can do this too. And that was how it went. I ended up meeting Jason Kemper there. We met like everybody. We met all the presidents and like, I was like, hold on. I've been working with the bank for this long. I've never even met the CEOs, but I've already met the CEOs here and I just got started. This is crazy. And I was like, and that was the day Jason Kemper followed me on social media and I had a heart attack and a half. And I was like, why are you following me? So that's kind of like how things went. And that's where my first little bit started. And from that, the team grew. And until it was, I believe in May 2019, July 2019, that was when I hit 40K. And I was like, what is this? This is a lot to take in. But there was a lot of shifting that needed to be done because I felt like from 4K, it was from brand promoter to 4K, it was all about me trying to get people on Thrive. And then helping 12K, getting to 12K was literally helping everyone else get to 4K. That was my mindset, keep going, not stopping in your business because this business is yours. But also learning. There was a lot of learning that came with it. Like there was a lot of shifting, a lot of learning and everything. And I was just like, whoa, am I even deserving of all this after all of that? getting to the 40K was a lot of excitement, but it also came with a lot of negative talk. So like I said in the beginning of this whole thing, I was actually in a very, very negative space and I didn't know it. And when I first got into network marketing, they talked about you should self-develop. I'm like, the hell does that mean? It was very foreign to me. And then it was like, you got to do gratitude. I'm like, what the hell is that? Gratitude? There was a lot of positive talks and I was like, oh, maybe I am very negative. And so I started shifting into, they started talking about the gratitude journals and I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And instead of writing the negative things that I would write, I wrote the positive things. So when I look back at these journals, I'm always like, wow, I was very negative here. And I shared that with the team before. And I was like, look, this was me. You guys, I was once upon a time where you once upon a time were, or I was in your shoes before, and I can show you right here in my journal. And I shared that with them, and they were like, wow, I didn't know that, because on the forefront, you appear very positive. But what I had to remember was if I didn't stay positive, it's really hard to get there. Right. So remembering all the great things about your day got me forward, got me moving. But, I had to be thankful for, Amanda, Amber, and Lisa, and Chastity, all of them. They talked about all these things. And I was like, oh, if they never did, I wouldn't have self-developed. I wouldn't have worked on myself. I wouldn't have worked on things I thought that was okay. And a lot of this journey after all this time wasn't ever about ranks for me, but gaining back a lot of the time. So after all of this, I ended up quitting corporate after 11 years. I left corporate and I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can grow this business. I can keep working on this. But when I gained that time freedom, that was another shift of understanding what to do with my time. I was like, I have all this time now. What do I do with it? And how do I use it to excel further? So I used it a lot to figure myself out, even one as a mom, one as a business owner, and one as myself. And I had to really understand what I wanted out of all of this and what would make me happy to keep me going. Because at one point I was pouring about 80% of myself into Thrive. I want to say an 85 to 90% into Thrive. I was on every freaking Zoom you can talk about from morning to night. Literally, I was on a call and I was like, is this what it's supposed to be like? Or am I supposed to be more? And it was always like, I can copy the right cats, and all the right cats were on Zoom, but they were hosting their own Zoom, what I didn't realize. Instead of hopping on all of the Zoom while they played, I didn't even think about catching the recordings. I was like, I need to be here live right now. But that defeated me and I didn't know. So through this whole thing, I started learning more about myself. What I loved about Thrive and this whole network marketing was that you gain back that time. That time is to pour into yourself and figure out what you want out of life, what you want for yourself, right? I wanted to be a better mom. There was so much things that my kids are 4 and 6. So they're very young, right? There's a lot of learning and there's a lot of unlearning for me, because I had to know that my kids didn't operate the way I did, right? And there's triggers that I had from my childhood trauma. And I learned that, I had a narcissistic mom that I had to navigate around. So if you know me personally, I'd share that when I started with Laval, my narcissistic mom started in another company and she would compete against me. And I was like, huh. And on the days that I come back and I would celebrate my wins, I couldn't celebrate with her. And I was like, oh, okay. So when I came to celebrate my wins, she came and she left the room and went to try to work harder than me. And I was like, what is this? What is going on? Are you competing against me? Like I couldn't grasp this whole thing. And till this day, she's still there. I had to learn to push this further away from me so I can concentrate for myself. So there's a lot of things where I had to learn to celebrate my own wins. I would clap for myself, literally clap for myself. And if you sat with me a couple times, you'll know that I actually do a happy dance anytime I sign a customer, because I am actually celebrating my own wins. So when I do these little dance, I am like, I'm celebrating, right? And my kid is on the side and he's like, Mom, did you just get a new customer? I'm like, yes, I did. And he loved it. So what I taught him was like, you always got to celebrate you, even if nobody else celebrates you. But in this beginning of this business, people were celebrating me. And I was like, oh, these strangers are celebrating me. What did I do? So that's where things all started. So I do actually do, like, I would encourage you guys to do a little happy dance if that makes you happy, whatever it looks like to you. Some people have seen me do like an air kick or whatever it's called. I don't know what the hell it is, from Wizard of Oz. And and they would crack up about that. And you know what? If that makes you laugh, make it laugh. There was someone that talked about in the beginning of this. They were like, do your superhero pose. And I was like, okay, let's just pick one. And every time it comes up to that, I'll be like, let's just do that because it makes everyone else laugh. So that works for me. It is really funny. I have it on video somewhere. It's all over the place. But yeah, you guys have to learn how to celebrate your little wins and get through your own days of, your difficult days. If you have a lot of times, just work on your inner self. Like, I always say when it comes to this kind of business, when you start comparing yourself to the people that are moving faster, though, that's going to take away from yourself, right? You got to learn to celebrate your own wins. You got to not compare to your sidelines, but to be inspired all the time. 80K came last, I don't even know, but 80K came to me and I was just like, wow, this is a lot. And as an 80K leader, you'll know that everything rises upwards, everything. So you got to learn to, move energies so you're not getting so defeated in all the issues that are coming up to you. You got to learn how to decompress, literally decompress without projecting, right? There's a lot that comes to you and you're just like, the only thing I can think of is finding the solution to help everyone the fastest. And that's it. And sometimes it is learning to navigate through your day and be like, hold on, I'll come back to you with your answer. I might not have an answer for you right now, but having an answer for you later or finding a solution for you later will help everyone across the board. And so this whole thing for me with network marketing and this whole business has just been a self journey of growth and helping everyone else around you win, but understanding your own things and your own balances. But yeah, I think 80K came in either July or August of last year, and it was crazy. I was like, wow, this is a lot to celebrate, but it was nice. It was a nice celebration with everyone. 80K.
Lena, I just
Yes.
gotta tell you, your story is so awesome, and you had me cracking up when you were like, I looked at Twin's page and she was pretty. I always joke with Twin that like one of the criteria for being on her team is you got to be drop dead gorgeous. um, but you just your whole story. I think there's so many people that get involved and they had no plan to get involved. Like they were like, what is going on? And there's a lot of people that avoided, their upline or didn't want to be bothered. There's a lot of introverts. I mean, I think there's so many people that are totally relating to your story and just even wanting to come out of your shell. But I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me is your need to do this. Like you were willing to do what it takes. And dude, destination to 12K is not easy. Like I don't make it easy. I put it out there. You have to sign a contract. I'm all like, look, this time ain't right. You are not going to want to do this for 30 days. Um, and you committed. And that's not the easiest thing to commit to because I know, we'll start with a certain amount of people and end up with less than half. And it's not easy to get through. And it's crazy you mentioned it because October 1st, we're launching Destination to 40K for anybody that hasn't been 40K yet um, can sign the contract and get in this group. And I think we're only going to do like 600 people. So Those people that want to get their businesses relaunched, y'all, now's the time to do it. And listening to Lena, it can be powerful. It can be super powerful for your business. Lena, I want to know, like, 3 years, what do you feel like maybe was your biggest challenge?
Ooh, my biggest challenge was probably learning about myself and my balances, and literally more so about myself, right? There's a lot of things where I told you, like, I had a lot of negative aspects in my life because I had a narcissistic mom, and I had to learn to separate her from me and find who I actually was and be okay with that. And um and then after, as I was navigating through all that, having, like, learning about growth and all that stuff. So I was learning not to project a lot of my inner things, where it's like, you got to love everyone where they're at. Like, sometimes, some people are in this business, but they're not ready to be a 200K, or they didn't come in to be a 200K like you, or they're just here for the community. But loving everyone where they're at, and letting them go through what they need to go through, because I needed to go through a lot of growth. And yeah, like Angela says, drop the expectations from everyone, right? Like, everyone is going to take their time to learn what they need to learn. And you got to be okay with that. And the less you start dictating everyone else what to do and just guiding them and letting them know that you're there for them, it's going to be a lot easier for you. And, if you're still there chasing ranks, maybe you should chase your leadership skills and your other things rather than these ranks, because the faster you rise, there's a whole time you'll hear stories over stories that the faster you rise, there's times where you fall. So for me, I didn't want to fall. If I hit 80, I wanted to stay 80. I'm committing to these things, and committing to these things is huge, right? Your mindset has to be in the right space. There's a quote on my page that stays there, and it says, your mindset is the key to success. And it is. You got to decide what your mindset is at, where it's at. If it's in the negative, how do I get it in the positive? If it's making you feel a type of way, like, why is it making you feel that way? And so those are the things that I kind of like worked on. But yeah, that's literally what my biggest struggle was, just really knowing me and being okay with it and believing that I have the ability to do all these things.
I love that tip. Stop chasing a rank and maybe chase your leadership skills. Like, that's so good, because there's so many people that are, I want to be this rank, I want to be this rank, but what I find a lot of the times is people don't hit ranks until they're ready, like, emotionally, physically, doing all of those right things before it comes. It's not supposed to come yet. What, gosh, I have so many questions. We don't have that much time left. But another question I have for you is primarily, how do you grow your network? I mean, I know you guys are social media beasts, but if you could give that brand new person, or anyone really, whether they are brand new or been in 5 years, just some basic tips on growing their network every day, what are some, like, must do's?
Do everything scared. I was scared to go to the mall, even after that whole thing, to even ask somebody to do something. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Right? You do things with scared, and it just gets easier every single time. You just, like, I use my kids. If you know my son, he's a crazy extrovert, and I just feed into him. He goes in the street and says hi to everybody, so I follow suit. And so that's how I grew my belly to belly. I'll take him to be my comfort. I take him to be that person that opens the door to the conversation. And I'll be like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. And I have to remember how to navigate through these conversations, because I'm like, how do I not scare them off, but like have them remember who I am? So I'm glad that he's an extrovert, because he does that easy, really, really easy for me. But again, I gotta put on my brave panties when I get out there on my own too, right? Like, don't be scared to be like, hey, how's it going? Right? Those are the things that I remembered on the back end of, like, if I have to grow outside of my network, if I have to grow outside of things, I can't be scared. I got to do things scared, and it just gets easier and easier. And, remembering to come back, even if it's coming back to your car and celebrating that, oh my gosh, I did it. I talked to somebody today. I did these small little things that will get you a little bit further, right? It's not the big task that gets you far. It's the little ones that build up to the bigger ones that will get you further.
Oh my God, that's so good. So good. I mean, step out of your comfort zone every day. Something little, something small. And, knowing that there are other ways to build your network outside social media. I mean, you could be standing next to your next rock star at the grocery store and somebody else is going to get them, you just don't know. And it's kind of getting over those fears that really, when you kind of break down the fear, it's silly. Because, if they say no, it's somebody you're never going to see again. Who cares, right? Who cares? I didn't die. And that's what I always used to say to myself. After I would do something scary, I'd be like, okay, I didn't die. I'm still alive. That did not kill me. All right, I can do this again. I mean, what is worst case scenario in that situation? And it's usually like somebody could be rude or say no. And guess what? I mean, that's like that really in any, I mean, I'm sure when you were in banking, you had rude people,
I stayed away from customers.
because people
I stayed
were
away from
rude,
customers.
unfortunately.
I was on the back end of things where I don't have to see that kind of people. So, but yeah, that's how much of an introvert I was. I was like, no, I don't want to talk to you about your banking stuff. I'll help you on the other side. So,
And I think you're giving so many people hope that are introverts, because I think there's a stigma that goes along with this business that you have to be super outgoing and super this and super that. And you guys, anybody can do this. You can grow into somebody that, and I'm sure you're like me. I'm still an introvert. I'm totally an introvert, but I do what I need to do to grow this business. You know what I mean? I do what I need to do. And as your paycheck grows and as your rank grows, your confidence grows, and suddenly these things that seemed impossible now aren't so impossible. You start to do them, which is absolutely, it's huge. Um, okay, we have 2 minutes left. Anything that you can think of that you want to leave everybody with today? And actually, my question was going to be, there's a lot of people that checked out. Let's just be real. Summer came, they were maybe defeated because they didn't get a bonus in bonus season, or they lost one, or maybe the kids got out of school and they just got out of their routine and now they're like, I want to jump back in, but I don't know where to start. What would be your best advice?
okay. So to me, I'm always going to tell you that if you have life happens, right? You're just going to have to learn how to, and remembering that these kind of things happen. But the sooner you come back to, coming back to this business, then it's not ever restarting, right? We're always going to go through life, but it's how you pick back up. The sooner you pick back up, the sooner that you'll get everything going, your ball rolling. And how do you get that going? It is just reaching out, building new relationships, just talking to people. You're not going to vomit thrive everywhere in everyone's face at the very first time you talk to everyone, but just reaching out and building that relationship back up again, it helps. Like what I always tell everyone is, everyone remembers you as a Thrive person. Whether you're the guy or the girl, the minute they see your name or your face, you're the Thrive person already. So you don't have to vomit that in their face. They see it, they see the sticker. But sometimes it's just reminding them, oh my gosh, I love this energy today. Simple, right? Reminding them of the simplest things of what they told you, why they love Thrive. You're just going to have to remind them back, whether it is on social media or it is in person. I like to remind people in person of the energy that I get from Thrive, because they're watching me. They're watching me and they're seeing me smile with my kids. They're seeing me run around. I'm not sitting on the park bench. I'm all up in there with them. And you can hear my kids laughing from a mile away. And that's literally how I kind of get back into business. I remember my why. Like, why did I start this? Why did I want this business? Why I wanted this business because I wanted this time freedom for my kids. I wanted this business because I want to help others have this time freedom that I have. I always tie everything back to my why. And if I don't get up inspired about my why, it has to change.
Lena, you're amazing. And I appreciate you so much for taking this last hour with us and sharing and really like diving deep into your story and just kind of getting everybody in a place. I know there's a lot of people I keep seeing saying, I needed this today. Thank you so much. I mean, you definitely touched a lot of people, and for sure, a lot of people needed to hear what you shared today. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it gets some of us uh, that aren't so motivated lately a little bit more motivated to get out there and do this because you're on your time. There. That's what I tell everybody in this business. I love when you said love people where they're at because we are all on our own journey. Right. I mean, this isn't a race, guys, but the cool thing is the finish line everybody wins. Everyone will win if they don't give up. Every single person, whether you come in first or, you know, 199th or 9,000, it doesn't matter. When you get to that finish line for whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams are, like it's going to be so worth it, right? Time can't be, take quitting off the table and time can't be, an issue. Stop thinking about when is this going to happen for me and start thinking about what are the actions that I need to do and what are the things I need to learn and who are the people I need to follow to get to that place. And it's so good. So good. Everything you said today was so good. Thank you so much for getting on with us. I appreciate you. And you guys, it's Tuesday, payday. We just got paid 2 minutes ago. Um, what I would ask everybody on here is number one, when you look at your paycheck today, be grateful, whether it's a penny, $5, $5,000. Look, it's more than when you started. And let me tell you what, I would look at that paycheck and say, did I earn that? Did I earn this? Am I not happy with my paycheck? And is that partly my fault? You know, but whatever you do, be grateful because it's more than when you started. And don't forget to make that payday post because there's somebody out there that's watching that just needs groceries paid for, that wants gas in their car, that, wants they want to be able to buy their kids something for school. So you guys don't underestimate the power of even, getting started in this business and what, that beginning income can mean to somebody. It's so, so huge. Thanks again, Lena. Thanks to all of you guys. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, same link. And don't forget, watch for the information on Destination to 40K beginning October 1st. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. I love you guys. Have a good one. Thank you again, Lena.